Hi, everybody. I thought um, I would do this little impromptu song review for you. The Beatles anthology from 1995 is getting ready to, I think, celebrate its anniversary, and in commemoration of that anniversary, the whole project, including the CD components, are getting a re-release. Now, as far as the video or the documentary component, um, when I first heard about the re-release of this material, I was like, "Why? I mean, why? Nothing. There's nothing left in the vaults." And even when um, I heard other uh, fans saying on videos and whatever that they found some new footage, some unseen footage of the Beatles working on the anthology project back in 1995 when it was first released. And I think that is I suspect that that footage is the footage that um, was on the special feature disc of the DVD version of the anthology project, and but I could be wrong. But as far as the album components or the music components for the Beatles anthology project, the um, they are uh, being remixed and re-released. And as part of the re-release, I think, well, I know they are remixing "Free as a Bird" and maybe "Real Love." And actually, "Free as a Bird" is the tune we're going to talk about in a minute. But and I'm wondering if they'll also stick now and then on um, the Beatles anthology release um, that they really now and then came out a couple years ago, and it was touted as the last Beatles song. And but as far as "Free as a Bird" goes, I just got through listening to most of the 2025 remix of the song, um, and I was very impressed. I As you recall, um, in 1995, uh, Yoko had given Paul um, these demos of John of songs that he had written, which turned out to be "Real Love," "Free as a Bird," and "Now and Then." And they used "Free as a Bird" and "Real Love" on Anthology 1 and 2, but they didn't have room, I guess, for "Now and Then," or they didn't have the technology to really get a satisfactory mix. And that's why I say that maybe they'll stick "Now and Then" on the third anthology disc if they re-release that, because they didn't really have a song for the third anthology. Um, but as far as the remix of "Free as a Bird," the 2025 remix, it is far superior to, as far superior to the 1995 remix, because now they have the technology to where they can get a really good mix and a really good sound. Um, I was just um, blown out of the water by John's vocal on the 2025 remix of "Free as a Bird," because the 1995 mix of it sounded like what it was, which was like a demo that they had stuck on, um, that they had laid a track over. And I was watching one of my channels that I watch, and the guy, and I'm basically parroting what he said. The guy, he said that the John that John's vocal was more up front in the 2025 remix than in the 1995 mix, and I wholeheartedly agree. I was just blown out of the water, because it sounds like he is part of the band in the 2025 remix, whereas in the 1995 remix, like I said, it sounds like he uh, it sounds like a tape that George Ringo and John or George Ringo and Paul had just laid a track over and called it done. And I think part of that is due to the fact that they didn't have the technology to really, to really do much with, John's vocal in 1995, because that had never been, to my knowledge, something like that to where an artist would lay a track over a demo, with the exception of Simon and Garfunkel, you know, laying rhythm tracks over their original version of Sounds of Silence. That had never been done to where a band, basically laid a put a rhythm track over a demo, and now, with technology like it is today, you know the John's vocal sound is just 100 times 100 times better than the 1995 remix, and even the um even just the whole sound of the record, the whole sound of the song. The rhythm track is just better. Is just better than 1995. It's more crisp. It's a lot more crisper, and it has you can hear a lot. You can hear they've I think they've boosted the volume in some spots, because you can hear more than you could hear in the original 1995 recording. And they have, I think maybe I heard that Peter Jackson was involved, or they were using his technology that he used for the Now and Then recording session. Uh, and I think maybe they, uh, it's just so much better than the 1995 mix. It doesn't even compare. And so I'm gonna put a link up in the cards to the Beatles channel, so check this song out for yourself and see what you think. I give this 5 stars.